Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Gold with your daily gold analysis done after the New York session for Wednesday the 2nd of October has ended. I'm recording this video just gone 5 p.m. in the evening, New York time. Let's have a quick look at the weekly chart, and I'll explain why I think it's most likely that this primary degree fourth wave is not over. Primary 1 has to end here. It can't end here because it can't be a three-wave structure, and it can't end here because this low is very, very slightly above this low. So primary wave 1 could not be a leading diagonal ending here because leading diagonals may not have truncated fifth waves. So primary wave 1 must have ended here, which means this is where primary wave 2 begins, and it lasted 53 weeks. It is possible that primary 4 was over here in just 9 weeks, but if that's the case, 9 weeks compared to 53 gives the wave count a rather odd look. What is much more likely is that primary 4 is an incomplete flat correction, with a 3-wave structure for A, a 3 for B down yet to complete, and then we need a 5 up for C, probably to find resistance at the upper edge of this channel. This channel is drawn using Elliott's first technique. The first trend line is drawn from the low of 1 to 3, a parallel copy is placed on the high of 2, and that upper trend line should provide resistance. Primary 4 may not move into primary wave 1 price territory. This wave count is invalidated with movement above 1532.90. I do have an outlying alternate possibility that sees the downwards movement over here and upwards movement, a new cycle degree wave to make new highs. That would be confirmed with movement above this price point, but that wave count has a very low probability. This wave count has a much higher probability at this stage. It would be confirmed at cycle degree with movement below 1032.7. Let's have a look at the daily chart with the start of primary 4 here is this point down here. There are several different possible structures that can unfold in a correction at the fourth wave. 13 possible corrective structures, so when you're in the start and even in the middle of it, it's often impossible to tell exactly what structure is unfolding. Sometimes impossible until you get towards the end. At this stage we can rule out a zigzag because the A wave subdivided as a 3, so we're either looking at a multiple or a flat. Because this downwards movement is subdividing as a double zigzag, a flat correction is most likely, because a double zigzag in an X wave position is much less likely than a double zigzag in a B wave position. So for primary wave 4 we have a 3-wave structure for the A wave, a 3-wave structure, a double zigzag for the B wave, which for a flat must reach a minimum of 90% the length of the A wave, so we need a minimum of 1205.74, and that minimum target should be at least a couple of weeks away. When I know where minuet waves 3 and 4 within minute wave C have ended, I will use minute and minuet wave degrees to calculate a target for this downwards movement for you. When that's complete, we'll expect a 5-wave up for the C wave to complete primary wave 4. Within a flat correction, the B wave can make a new price extreme beyond the start of the A wave, so we could see a new low below here, and in fact the most common type of flat is an expanded flat, which requires the B wave to be 105% the length of the A wave, so a new low is actually quite likely. Let's have a look at this structure and see what happened on the hourly chart with the start of minute wave C here, is this point up here. After yesterday's analysis, I was expecting more fourth wave corrections to end in this price range and overall stepping downwards with more lows. That's not what happened. This is where the downwards movement ended, and this upwards movement has very clearly breached yesterday's channel that was drawn around this downwards movement. This is a second wave correction. It can't be a fourth wave because it's moved back into what would have been first wave price territory. So we have a first wave complete down here, and this is a second wave correction, and when it's done we should expect to see a strong increase in downwards momentum for a third wave. At this stage for the second wave correction the structure is incomplete. We have A, B and an incomplete C wave, which is so far probably going to reach 2.618 the length of the A wave at 1326. Within the C wave, it's unfolding as an impulse. We have 1, 2, 3 is close to 2.618, the length of 1. 4 is probably completing as a small triangle, and when that's finished, we should see a short, sharp upwards thrust, and at 1327, microwave 5 would reach equality in length with microwave 1. So one final fifth wave, and then we should expect a trend change and an increase in downwards momentum over the next 48 hours. Minuet wave 2 may not move beyond the start of 1 above 1352.90. This remains our alternate daily wave count. It still has that problem of proportion. If primary 4 is over here, it lasted only 9 weeks, well out of proportion to primary wave 2. It is technically possible though, and fourth and second waves aren't always nicely in proportion, so we will consider it. At this stage, it too expects downwards movement, so there's no divergence. So yesterday's analysis was just wrong, and we got upwards movement, not the continuation of downwards movement that I had expected. The upwards movement, in contrast to the prior downwards wave, looks quite corrective. It looks like a deep second wave correction, already reached up to the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, and it's really close to completion. When it's done, we should look for a trend change and an increase in downwards momentum. That's all for me today with your gold analysis, and I hope that everybody had a fabulous day.